Alright, so, bad news. I didn't start the stream early. I was doing other things again with my night. And then, you know, as the hours go by, you're like, ah, shit, should I just miss stream? And then you're like, ah, shit, I really don't want to miss stream. Good news is I'm going to commit. I'm going to commit. Hopefully a couple hours here. Still to Umineko, even though I'm starting on the late side. Will I be follow through with that? I don't know. I'm a habitual liar when it comes to stream sometimes. I don't not because I try to. I've long discussed my sometimes attention problems sometimes with streams, especially late at night, especially on weekdays. And then I can go in with full intentions of going for a bit, and then 30 minutes, an hour in, and my brain starts wandering. And yeah, especially with a game like this, a story like this, having a wandering mind is probably not the most conducive thing, but we're gonna try. So first off, welcome to the stream. It's Umineko time. Wednesday before Thursday off. No streams obviously tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back, not tomorrow, Friday. I think I'm gonna be able to. I think we're gonna try to finish the Hex on Friday night, and then depending on how long that takes, then we'll see what else we possibly could fit in after. But that's kind of the goal. So load that. Load this. Get me in. Alright, let's look at... Is this... Okay, so I had to remind... I'm trying to remind myself. Okay, so this is Battler saying this. So he's getting mad, not mad, but he's like, he's talking to the other, the servants, and he was like, they were explaining how Beatrice was real, and he was like, oh, I don't fucking, I should, instead of, really before stream, well, okay, so before stream, I usually try to see the last few minutes of my old stream to see then where I was, but because I was starting so late, I was like, I'll just jump in. But I think he was talking to the servants. He was like, you guys are fucking nuts. You guys might all think Beatrice is real, but, no. I reject your reality. Then Maria was the last one to speak based on this. She starts doing her cackling laugh. Then she's like, eventually, even people like you with totally mismatched wavelengths will be able to see her. Very soon she will revive, Beatrice will revive. Once that happens, she's promised to talk with me and play with me a lot. There'll be absolutely no need for you to doubt for it. See, I don't remember this line. This line, I don't remember reading at all towards the end of the last stream of this. But I guess she was saying like, oh yeah, Beatrice will come. Okay. Easy, I remember. Easy. Except for that one line, easy. Alright, let me assume reading position, which is different than pretty much any other streaming position I got here. It's much more relaxed. You'll just have to believe me. After a meal, some people tend to head to the bathroom, while others prefer to relax for a bit. It seemed that several people had left the parlor, just like I did when I went to the kitchen to drink some water. In the end, Aunt Natsuhi reluctantly retracted her order that everyone remain packed into the parlor, on the condition that no one headed out on their own or strayed too far. Mike is like a little too close to me. In any case, if 11 people were shut up in the same room starting early in the morning, the air will start to stagnate. Also, quite some time had passed, so everyone was starting to recover from the shock of that morning, and their sense of danger might have been weakening too. However, it was a certain fact that 6 people had been killed inside this mansion, so no one was completely negligent. So whenever they went out into the hallway for a breath of fresh air, trying to act tough, they would quickly get scared of standing there, isolated, and would eventually return to the parlor. I gotta make sure I set my alarms for tomorrow morning, and I don't forget. I guess it's like the north wind and the sun. If you force someone to stay shut in, they'll resist. But if you tell them to do whatever they want, they'll come back obediently. People really do not like doing what they're told. When the servants finished cleaning up from the meal, they returned obediently to the parlor just as Aunt Natsuhi had told them to, and sat on a sofa near the entrance, patiently awaiting orders. Maria, almost as though she had suddenly finished playing witches, had returned to the pure Maria I knew well, saying, "Ooh, ooh. What? Demon child. Lock her up." I don't want to say that, but like, put her in a room. Put her in a room. Yeah? Lock the door. Tell her you'll come get her later. I didn't really think about what actually I would do with Maria, but I'm thinking you just, like, it's kind of weird. Because I keep thinking about, like, what would I do in this situation? And, like, to me, it keeps being like, it keeps seeming like they're dealing with Maria with kid gloves. They're doing the whole kid gloves thing. Like, oh, sweet Maria, we know what she's really like. But then she has these evil twists and turns, and then they're like, it just seems like they're not reacting right to it. What in the world happened back there? Hadn't felt... Oh, I should probably do this. Okay. What in the world happened back there? Hadn't felt even an atom of the presence of this person called Beatrice, who was supposedly standing behind me, invisible. However, felt like I'd glimpsed a little of that presence inside Maria. You're right. When Maria starts talking about witches, her personality... Oh, maybe they're about to do what I was saying. Her personality changes. Battler-kun, you also saw it down by the beach yesterday, right? You mean that scorpion keychain? No, I don't mean like when her feelings were hurt. I'm talking about her having a dual personality or something. Yeah, that happens sometimes too. That thing Maria did when she was talking about the magic circle does happen every now and then. It's freaky though. Apparently Jessica had spotted that Maria a few times. I just happened to catch it at a bad moment and was pretty freaked out seeing it for the first time. Oh, this is a normal thing. Oh, it's a normal thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So what is that? Does Maria have a dual personality or something? Or are you saying that her spiritual sense really is that strong and she's being possessed by a spirit or whatever? No, I don't think that's it. Or I don't think it's that. Haven't you ever experienced it? When you were small, didn't you ever want to be someone other than yourself? When humans are born, no one has any individuality. However, when they reach their growth period, their sense of self starts to be born. They want to be different than other people. But since everyone else in their class is learning the same things at the same rate and being forced in the same lifestyle, of course they aren't going to find anything that makes them different from everyone else around them. Once they realize that, the first thing they do is start breaking the rules in what's called their rebellious stage. Since everyone else follows the rules, they want to show off their individuality by breaking them. So even those who try to act tough, mocking everyone around them and calling them childish, can actually be viewed as cute kids searching for themselves, if you look at it this way. Well, I'm lecturing about all this like I'm so smart, but I actually got it secondhand from George Aniki. I myself was one of those embarrassing guys who thought it was cool to act like a little bastard. Well, that was when I was at the age where you try to show off for the opposite sex.
成長期の根底には子供から脱却したいというひよこが殻を破るのに似た衝動がある。
The main feature of the growing period lies in an impulse to break away from your life as a kid, like a chick trying to crack open the shell of their egg.
子供と大人の違いは何かわかるかい？
Do you know what makes children and adults different?
年齢？
Age? Battler would say the most obvious thing.
それとも体格？
Or do you mean size?
違うよ。経験だよ。
No, you silly fuck. It's experience.
大人が子供を見下すのは人生経験が少ないからだよ。
Adults can look down on children because children have very little life experience.
子供が何を言っても鼻で笑ってしまうのは世間知らずのくせにと見下しているからだよ。
The reason they snort at everything children say is because they think kids know nothing about the real world.
ああ、そういうのわかるぜ。
Yeah, I understand that.
子供の頃って妙に人生ってもう悟りきったようなことを口にして年長しゃぶりたくなるよな。
When you're a kid, you talk like you've got life all figured out somehow, trying to act like an adult. Oh, wait! Oh, my shit. Oh, my shit! No, I figured out, or not figured out, I remembered. Someone in YouTube said, oh, the tips. Look at this. Dude, I'm pretty sure I probably, cause since I'm such a menu freak, like, I'm sure I went into the tips, like, in the first or second stream of this game, and then there wasn't anything here. But look at that, they start filling out with the tips. I've, like, blanked this tip section, like, just because this draws your eye so much. Let me see if this says anything interesting. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you well, obviously it's the epitaph, that's what it's called, but I guess it doesn't hurt to reread it. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. In the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. So that's I assume the 6 that are dead. Second night, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. Those who remain, so of the people remaining, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close? Who are close at this point? I mean, you could make an argument they're close. You could make an argument they're close. On the 3rd twilight, those remain shall praise my noble name. On the 4th twilight, gouge the head and kill. Gouge chest, stomach, knee, leg, which shall revive and be left. On the 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasure. Onward, Jim, there's this, I'm Beatrice. I mean, I did Beatrice the Golden. I did technically read these before. I mean, we got them in the game. I'll just reread this. Yeah, I understand that. When you're a kid, you talk like you've got life all figured out somehow. Try and act like an adult.
大人は子供が何を言っても世の中甘くないとか社会に出ればわかるとか鼻で笑ってる。
No matter what kids say, adults just snort at them and say they're too naive, or that they'll understand when they get older or something. No, if it's like my dad, growing up with so many siblings, our line would always say, like, it's not fair, you know, something happens, and then we'd be like, it's not fair that this person got this thing, or that I'm being punished for something, or whatever. And then my dad's famous line, he would always be like, well, life's not fair. And that pissed me off so much as a kid. Life's not fair. I mean, it's a true statement, clearly. I've learned in my years since on this planet, but, like, being told that as a kid sucks. Life's not fair.
まあ実際そうなんだけど、子供的にはそういうのって見下されてるみたいでムカつくんだよな。
So I hated it so much as a kid that I vowed, like, in my slightly later years after that point, that I was like, if I ever have kids, I'm never going to say to them, if they say something's not fair, I'm never going to say life's not fair, and I'm never going to say, if they say why, or why are you doing, something along those lines, I'm never going to say because I said so. If I do something, if I do, I'm never going to be like, because I said so. Like, that pissed me off as a kid as well. If you're going to say for, like, your kid, if you're making a ruling, you should have a reason to do it, In my eyes. Well, it's probably true, but to a kid, it's just annoying, like they're being looked down upon. Having a side tangent here about raising a kid. I get it. It's a question of knowledge and experience. Well, I guess you're right that there's no reason to respect a person for their age if they're just wasted their lives.
となるとつまり子供から脱却したいという衝動を持つ時期に、かつ他者とは違うという個性を持ちたくなる。
Therefore, during the period when they try to separate themselves from other children, they always try to take on personality traits different from those around them.
子供からの脱却がつまり知識や経験なのだとしたら。
And if knowledge and experience is what separates kids and adults.
なるほど。他人の持ち得ない知識を持つことが一つのアイデンティティになるわけか。
I get it. If they know something no one else knows, it becomes part of their identity.
小学校の頃なんかさ、クラスの誰も知らないことを知っていたり。
Are they saying all this because of Maria? I've kind of lost the thread here. When I was in elementary school, I learned things no one else knew.
持っていたり身につけていたりするとヒーローになれたよな。
Get things no one else had, wear things no one else wore, and became a bit of a hero for it.
バトラもそういう経験あるだろ?
I'll bet you've done the same thing, Battler.
あるある。
Yeah.
何か一芸に秀でたいと思うお年頃って確かにあるな。
There was definitely an age when I wanted to excel in some skill or other.
なるほど。それが子供からの脱却。つまり成長期ってわけか。
I see. So that's because I was trying to separate myself from being a child, or going through my growing period, in other words.
健全な意味での成長期は、そうして没個性を脱却するために、人が持たない知識やスキルを身につけることを促す。
If you put a positive spin on it, the growing period forces you to separate yourself from others, thereby pushing you to gain skills and knowledge no one else has.
これは社会学的にも面白いことだよ。
This is also interesting from a sociological standpoint.
人が没個性を嫌うために人と違う技術を身につけようとする。
Because people hate being like everyone else, they try to learn skills other people don't know.
これにより社会は幅広い技術を獲得して立脚する。
In this way, society can acquire the broad range of skills it needs to survive.
神々の高度なプログラミングに驚かされるね。
The quality of the gods' programming is truly surprising.
まあ、個性がネガティブに働くこともあるぜ。
Well, unique personality traits can also be negative, right?
クラスみんなが真剣に勉強してるから、俺だけはサボって目立とうとかよ。
Like if, say, everyone in the class was studying hard, but I was the only one slacking off, trying to stand out. Okay, the last bit was truly about me. That last bit really was true about me. Wait, it's only recently that I've been able to thank the middle school teacher who slapped me after school.
でもまあ、誰も飛べない飛び箱を飛んでやりたいとか。
But, well, I try to jump over things no one else could.
成績のいい連中を周回遅れにさせてや
I
る
was
ぜ
a
って
jumper.
マラソンで全力疾走とか。そういう気持ちはあったな。
Sprint as fast as I could, trying to lap those guys with good grades when we did a marathon. I just felt like doing it.
勉強はダメだったから、少なくとも運動では見返してやるぜって根性はあった。
It was in my nature that if I couldn't study well, then at least I could get back at them by exercising.
なるほど。ちゃんと成長期してるな、俺。
I see. So I really did go through a proper growing period.
男子ってやっぱり肉体的な方面に関心が向くよな。
I guess boys really do tend to focus more on physical stuff.
でもよ、同じ時期に女子は精神的な面に向きやすいんだよ。
But you know, girls of the same age tend to focus more on mental, spiritual things.
バトラーのクラスの女子にも占いとか霊感とかそんなこと言ってる女子連中のグループがあったりしただろ。
I'll bet there were groups of girls in your classes that got really interested in fortune telling and their spiritual senses.
あったあった。
Yeah, there were.
人の星座とか血液型とか聞いてきて、やっぱりクスクス。
They'd come over asking me for my sign and my blood type, and then they'd laugh, I thought so, giggle giggle.
とか笑われると大いにムカついたもんだぜ。
It really got on my nerves. It really hurt my brain.
女子は占いが好きだし。
No matter which class you go to, girls like fortune telling.
決まって霊感に強いだの弱いだの、感受性がどうこう、見えないものが見えちまうだの、そういう手合いが必ずいたもんだぜ。
Deciding whether your spirit sense is strong or weak, what your sensitivity is, whether you can see the unseeable, that kind of thing definitely happened to me.
占いも霊感も学校では教えないものだからね。
That's because fortune telling and spiritual senses are things that aren't taught in school.
男の子と違い、内向的な世界に関心を持ちやすい女の子にとって、
To girls who tend to be more introverted,
それはアイデンティティを確立しやすくて、かつ興味深いジャンルなんだよ。
it's a genre that's easy to build an identity upon, and one that holds a lot of interest for them.
男子が成長期に入ると急に悪ぶったりして大人に反抗を始めるのと全く同じに、
Just like how when boys enter their growing period, they start acting tough and rebel against adults.
女子も成長期に入るとそういうのに興味が出るようになるんだよ。
When girls enter their growing period, they start getting interested in that kind of thing.
私はそうでもなかったけどさ。
Well, I didn't though. I'm not like those other girls.
つまり、
Smug
マリア
face.
がオカルトに関心を持つのは、年頃の女の子としてはそう珍しくもないってことか。
So, Maria having so much interest in the occult, isn't that rare among girls her age? I don't know if I accept this. Even if we accept that, I wonder if it explains that creepy dual personality thing. Actually, I think I probably could accept that explanation more or less.
さっきも言った通り、
Wow, we had a real
大
change
人
of
に
heart
なると
there.
いうのは知識や経験を持つことを言う。
As you just said, becoming an adult means gaining knowledge and experience.
だからそれを得るために子供たちはいろいろなことを学んで子供を脱却しなければならないんだけど、
So, to gain that, it's necessary for children to learn all sorts of things and break free from childhood.
子供の世界に今も昔もはびこっているある便利な妄想があるんだよ。
However, there are certain convenient delusions that you see often in the world of children, both now and in the past.
わかるかい？
Do you know what I mean?
漫画やアニメに多いだろ。
You see it all the time in manga and anime, right?
ほらあれだよ、
It's kind of like that.
前世の記憶が蘇ってとか、
Like you've got memories from a previous life that start to resurface.
偉大なるなんとかの魂が乗り移ってと
I
か。
said that word weird. Don't point it out. Don't you dare point it out to me. Like you're being possessed by the soul of that great something or whatever.
ああ、他にも遺伝子が覚醒したりとか、
Ah, or it could be that a sleeping gene gets awakened.
封印されていた能力やら記憶やらが戻ったりとか、いろいろあるな。
Or maybe a sealed power memory returns. There's all kinds.
どういうわけか、あの時期はそういうのがやたらと流行るもんさ。
For some reason, stuff like that's really popular at that age.
どうしてだ？
Why is that?
今挙げたキーワードはすべて子供の自分に知識や経験を直ちに付加できる幻想だからだよ。
All those examples you just mentioned are illusions that let children immediately add to their sum of knowledge and experience.
9歳の女の子も1000年を生きた魔女が 私に憑依していると言い出せば、
If a 9-year-old girl says she has a 1,000-year-old witch possessing her,
1009歳のアイデンティティが得られるわけだからね。
then she gains a 1,009-year-old identity.
まあつまり勉強するのは面倒くさい。
So basically, studying is annoying.
でも人とは違うスキルを持って周りに威張りたい、ちやほやされたいっていう連中にとっては便利な妄想なんだよな。
But these delusions are convenient for people who want to brag about having a skill no one else has, amazing the people around them. Just like when I said my dad works at Nintendo. The ultimate power play. So you could brag about something without having to work hard or study. I see. Isn't that a kid's greatest dream?
あとは子供からの脱却願望には必ず自分の理想像の自己投影が行われ、
Furthermore, in their desire to separate themselves from being kids, they always project an image of their ideal self.
その願望の姿が別人格として形成されることが少なくない。
And it's not rare for that desired self to become an alternate personality.
バトラ君だって家と学校では多少キャラクターが違うということがあるんじゃないかな。
Even you, Badlerkin, probably had a slightly different personality at home and at school, right?
多分家での自分の姿をクラスの友人たちに見せるのは恥ずかしいはずだよ。
It'd probably be embarrassing if your friends at school saw how you were at home.
学校の自分は自分のなりたい姿の投影で、家の自分は本来の姿だから。
At school, you try to project yourself as you want to be, but home is where you're your true self.
つまりキャラクターの使い分けというか。
So, in other words, I'm changing my personality depending on the situation?
人格の多重化はごくごく当たり前だと言いたいわけか。
Are you trying to say having multiple personalities is actually really common?
オカルトが好きな女子はそれを憑依と言ったり覚醒と言ったりするぜ。
A girl who's a fan of the occult might say she's being possessed or awakened.
正直ドン引きするくらいにキャラを変える子もいるよ。
Honestly, there are some kids who change their personality so much it's creepy. Okay, so all this is just talking about, like, this is George and Jessica just talking to Battler and being like, you know what? That weirdness about Maria? There's reasons to it. There are scientific or sociologic explanations for her being like that. And I get it. I understand what they're saying. But this just seems, for the current situation, a bit unbelievable. Because, like, if she was just acting like that, it'd be like, oh. But then, like, there's too many, like, occurrences where you're like, oh, 6 people dead. Potential Beatrice. The servants are saying there's an invisible person behind me. I'd be like, you know, now it's not that weird if she is possessed or is channeling a spirit or something like that. You know?
男子にもいるだろ。
And some boys do it too, right?
切れたとか言ってやたらめったら粗暴キャラに変身するやつが。
Guys who say they've blown their top and suddenly turn some overplayed violent character?
あれ本人はかっこいいと思ってるんだろうけど見てて痛いよな。
I'll bet they think it's pretty cool, but it's painful to watch. It's cringe.
つまりおさらいするとだ。
Let's sum this all up.
マリアくらいの年頃の女の子がさっきみたいな不気味な二重人格みたいなのを見せても。
So you're saying that even if a girl about Maria's age shows a creepy second personality like she did a minute ago,
それほど珍しいものじゃないと
it
言いたいのか。
it isn't such a rare, unusual thing?
簡単にまとめるとそういうことだね。
Simply put, that's right.
アイデンティティは自己を形成するための大切なもの。
Identity is an important factor when building up one's sense of self.
それをバカにしたりするとかえってその殻に閉じこもってしまうこともある。
If you make fun of it, it could actually cause children to go back into their shells.
だからほどほどに付き合ってあげるのが大切なんだよ。
So it's important to go along with them to some degree.
それを丸ごと受け入れてあげるのが親の包容力というものなんだけどね。
Although the broad-mindedness of the parent determines whether they play along in full or not.
兄貴、それで独身って信じられねえぜ。
Anika, I can't believe you're single. What a rude thing to say to him. Bruh. Is George just gonna look at him and just slap him? Like, I'm not wrong in saying that seems insensitive to say at a moment such as this.
もう子供が中学くらいに上がってそうな貫禄さ。
Even with that context, it's bad. You sound like you've already raised kids through middle school.
じゃあ、ローザおばさんもあのマリアの二重人格についてはよく知っていたのかな？
It sounds as if you didn't just lose the person you had proposed to, and you had a sweet, beautiful family with her, and grew up to love each other exponentially, and she didn't die, and it's like, okay, so I wonder if Aunt Rosa also knew much about Maria's dual personality.
知ってたぜ。
She knew about it.
ここだけの話、ローザおばさんはすっごく嫌がってた。
Just between us, Aunt Rosa really hated it. Oh, I'm shocked. Oh, color me surprised.
気持ち悪いし、クラスでますます孤立を深めるだけだって。
She said it was unpleasant and that Maria was becoming increasingly isolated from the rest of the class.
だから、マリアがオカルトの話を始めたり、魔女みたいな声で笑い出したりすると、必ずビンタしてたぜ。
So anytime Maria started talking about the occult or laughing like a witch, she'd slap her.
だからマリアも、ローザおばさんがいる時には、そういう話をしないようになったみたいだけど。
And it looks like Maria stopped talking that way in front of her. Maybe that thing back there was just a little game from a girl facing her growing period. From her growing period. Not her growing period. Just a girl trying to show that she was different and independent by holding interest in witches and the occult. And since she wanted to be different from herself, young as she was switching between her normal personality and the personality of her ideal, a witch. At first, I'd found that very disturbing. But after being lectured by George Niki, felt like this was a path everyone walked down at one time or another. I haven't told anyone, but when I was in kindergarten, I joined up with a little gang of kids trying to form an Earth Defense Force. Hey! Saying we'd help protect peace on Earth. My face turns red when I remember how, during what we called battle practice, we would chant E-D-F! E-D-F! Just like usual, Maria was relaxing, immersed in the TV, oohing, and laughing just like any girl her age. But on the inside, another personality, that of the ideal witch she respected and blindly accepted, was sleeping. But that wasn't anything extraordinary. It was perfectly natural for a girl of her age. I've calmed down a little. The shock from my bizarre experience in the kitchen just now is fading away. If I hadn't talked to Aniki and Jessica, I might still be frightened by the idea that an invisible witch is standing right behind me. However, can I really accept that as an explanation for what happened back there? If it had just been Maria, I could have explained it as the fickle delusions of a grown girl. So, oh my god, he's literally saying what I was just saying like 10 minutes ago, maybe? Me and Battler, dude. One and the same. Cut from the same cloth. Etc., etc. But Kenji-san, Ken-kun, and Kumasawa Bachan had also been there. None of them had denied what Maria said. They silently accepted that Beatrice exists. I was starting to feel a little uneasy. On Eva's position even, was that no 19th person existed. That the crime was an inside job tied to the family quarrels. On the other hand, Aunt Natsui's position was that the culprit was hiding somewhere outside the mansion. Do you love? Okay, new question for chat. For chat, for archivers, all kinds. Does it annoy you when I keep flipping back and forth from aunt and aunt? Because it's just a thing I do. I say it not even when I'm just like reading this story or whatever. I've never, as a person, settled on whether I like aunt or aunt more when I'm saying that word, A-U-N-T. And so I just say both. Whatever comes out, that's the thing. I'm sorry. It's a weird quirk. I've said it throughout this whole series, and because you said, because the story has that word constantly throughout it, it just, like, my brain, like, every time I hear myself change it again, I'm like, I'm doing it again. So she rejected the possibility of an inside job. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'm talking about me pronouncing aunt/aunt differently every time I come across it, but I'm the one who's constantly, like, I listen back slightly to, like, the VODs while I'm like slightly editing them or whatever if I need to before they go up on YouTube, just to like make sure audio works or whatever. And like just, oh god, hearing my own voice. All you people listening to me just read constantly. I'm sorry I don't have one of those like amazing angelic voices. You're just stuck with my voice. Somewhere halfway between like nasally and like croaky. Sucks. You choose to listen to it. It's unfortunate. So she rejected the possibility. Just a note. Just putting it out. Wouldn't be, no. So she rejected the possibility of an inside job and supported the idea that a 19th person existed. And in the kitchen, Maria and the servants had also supported the idea of a 19th person. But according to them, this 19th person isn't human. They said it was an invisible witch carrying out some mysterious plan. Is there a 19th person? Or not? And is the culprit human? Or a witch? For some reason, I couldn't just laugh off any of those possibilities. Not even the most ridiculous story about the witch. Jessica.
ベアトリーチェの話ってのは、俺の認識では森に子供たちが迷い込まないようにってんで作った大人の脅し話だってことになってんだが。
All I know about the story of the witch is that the adults made it up to keep the kids too scared to enter the forest.
この屋敷じゃ違うのか?
But is the story different here in the mansion?
私もバトラと同じ意見だぜ。
I feel the same way you do, okay?
こんなのは子供に言うことを聞かせるために親が作った間抜けな怪談だと思ってる。
I think it was just a stupid ghost story that parents made up so their kids would listen to them.
でも、そうだと口にはできない空気が屋敷内にあることは否めないな。
But I can't deny that the atmosphere inside the mansion makes it a little hard to say it out loud.
おじいさまがベアトリーチェは存在すると公言されているからね。
After all, Grandfather has proclaimed that Beatrice exists.
使用人たちは立場上それを疑えないし。
And because of their position, the servants can't doubt that.
クラウスおじさんたちもおじいさまと喧嘩がしたいわけもないから表向きは口を揃えてる。
Even Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsui don't want to get into a fight with him, so on the surface they go along with it.
だから多分このお屋敷ではベアトリーチェの存在を疑うことはある種のタブーだと思うんだよ。
So it's probably fair to say that doubting the existence of Beatrice is taboo to those who live and work in this mansion.
年に一度しか来ない僕たちと違ってね。
Unlike the rest of us, who only come here once a year.
そうでしょ。
Is that right? Jessica took a deep breath in admiration. It looked like Aniki had guessed right.
ジョージ兄さんの言う通りだぜ。
It's just like you say.
みんな腹の中じゃ信じてるわけじゃない。
No one really believes it on the inside.
でも、表向きはその存在を認めてる。
But on the outside, they accept that she exists.
ほら、神様の存在を認めるような、そんな雰囲気だよ。
See? It's just like the way some people are about God.
実際にはいないことを知ってても、それを口に出して否定したら野暮みたいな空気だな。
Even if they know God doesn't exist, they feel like it'd be uncouth if they actually said it out loud.
使用人たちの間ではどういうことになってんだ？
How do you think the servants feel about it?
やっぱり雇い主のじい様がいるって言ってんだから、それに口調を合わせてるわけか？
Are they just going along with it because grandfather, their employer, says that she exists?
さあ、
Well,
詳しくはわからないけど、
I don't really know the details.
使用人たちの間ではベアトリーチェの話はある種の怪談扱いになってるよ。
But between the servants, the story about Beatrice has been treated like a sort of ghost story.
ほら、昨日海岸でシャノンが話してくれたろ。
Remember yesterday when Shannon was talking to us down by the beach?
夜見回りをしているとき、不気味な何かを見かけたとか、そういう話。
That story about how one night when she was doing the rounds in the mansion, she saw something unsettling? She did say something like that, didn't she? Back then, I thought she was just being really nice to help improve Maria's mood, but it felt like she was serious when she said it. That's right, she definitely said it. She definitely said the same kind of thing that Genji and the rest had all unanimously declared back in the kitchen.
他にも鬼火や輝く蝶々が舞っているのを見たという使用人も。
In addition, some servants have also seen will-o'-the-wisps and glittering butterflies dancing around.
カノン君もそれらしいものを以前夜の見回りの時に見たことがあると言ってました。
Ken-kun also saw something like that when he went patrolling one night.
あと最近ではお屋敷の中で深夜に不思議な足音をよく聞くと使用人の間で話題です。
And recently, you often hear servants talking about strange footsteps heard inside the mansion near midnight.
私たちは肖像画の中のベアトリーチェ様が姿を消してお屋敷の中を散歩しているんだろうと囁き合ってるんですよ。
We've whispered together that the Beatrice-sama in the portrait sometimes makes herself invisible and walks through the mansion.
ずいぶん前ですが、私もそうかもしれない足音を夜の見回りの時に聞いたことがあります。
It happened a while ago, but even I have heard footsteps while patrolling at night that resemble these stories. That's right, she definitely said that. Exactly the same thing that I've been told just now.
でも怯えることはないんですよ。
Ah, but there's nothing to be afraid of.
ベアトリーチェ様は親方様とは異なるもう一人のお屋敷の主です。
Beatrice-sama is another ruler of this mansion, separate from the master.
だから変に怯えたりしないで敬意を持っていれば決して悪いことはしないのだそうです。
So there's no need to be unnaturally afraid. If you respect her, I hear she won't do anything bad.
ただし敬意を持たないと恐ろしいんだったね。
However, she can be quite terrifying if you don't respect her, right?
はい。
Correct.
私が勤めを始める直前に階段を転がり落ちて腰に大怪我をして辞めた方は
I've heard that just before I began working here.
ベアトリーチェ様のことを悪く言っていたそうです。
Someone who spoke badly about Beatrice-sama fell down the stairs and quit after receiving a large injury to their back.
だから使用人たちはベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れたのだろうと噂し合ったそうです。
Because of that, there was a rumor between the servants that Beatrice-sama's anger had been brought down upon this person.
敬わないとお怒りに触れて怪我をする。
If you don't respect her, you'll suffer her wrath and get hurt.
つまり使用人たちにとってベアトリーチェって存在は
So, to the servants,
お稲荷さんにいたずらしたらお狐様のたたりがあるってくらいには信憑性があるわけだ。
Beatrice's existence is just as credible as a story that if you pull pranks on Inari-san, you'll receive Kitsune-sama's curse. Of course, even though everyone accepts that curses and the like don't exist in the modern era, people are still afraid and still have a little respect for them. You often see it when, in a residential area, someone is building a house, and they call a Shinto priest for a ceremony to honor the god of that plot of land. You might think that was just a big waste of time and money, but it is said that if the workers don't do that, a big accident will occur, so so they never neglect to do it. You also hear about how, if an Inari shrine is carelessly removed during a town replanting, there'd be a curse by Kitsune-sama. I think I might have read somewhere that when the occupying forces were trying to expand an airport, they tried to remove an Inari-san that was in the way, and the workers kept getting struck down by mysterious fevers. Even in modern cities like Tokyo, it wasn't rare to see modern buildings packed all around an old Inari shrine, leaving the shrine itself untouched. And this wasn't limited to Japan. It's probably similar to how foreigners baptize babies. If I remember right, by Christian doctrine, if unbaptized souls have even the slightest amount of sin, they will still go to hell. First, you'll die, then you'll go to hell. Putting water on a child's forehead doesn't do anything but make them cry. Umineko says religion is stupid. Not necessarily. But to me, that's a funny joke. But if by doing just that, parents can prevent their children from going to hell, they will happily go through with that ceremony. In short, even in this modern society of reason, we were still unable to throw away every trace of belief and fear. You could even say that we accept certain sorts of supernatural things, though in a passive way. Maybe the only difference on this island is that Beatrice is the object of that worship.
じゃあつまり
So, in other words,
この島でとても人間技とは思えない何かが起こればそれはベアトリーチェの仕業だとなるわけか
if anything happens that doesn't seem explainable in human terms, it's called the work of Beatrice?
シャノンちゃんが言ってた気がするな
I think Shannon-chan said it herself.
ちゃんと閉めたはずの窓や扉や鍵がもう一度見回りに来たら開いていたとか
Windows and doors and locks that were tightly shut would be open the next time you went to check them.
消したはずの明かりがついていたりつけたはずの明かりが消えていたりとか
Lights that should have been on went out, and lights that should have been out were turned on.
で確かジェシカは朝出かけようとしたらカバンが見つからないのもベアトリーチェの仕業だってふざけてたんだよな
And if I remember, even Jessica was joking about it, saying it was also the work of Beatrice when she couldn't find her bag in the morning.
よく覚えてるな。
Your memory's pretty good.
普通なら妖精さんが隠したとでも言うところが、この島ではベアトリーチェがになるってだけの話だぜ。
Normally, you'd say some little imps took them, but on this island, it's Beatrice.
ま、そんなくったらない話さ。
Well, it's all pretty stupid, though.
このお屋敷も築30年くらいになるそうだからね。
This mansion has been standing for about 30 years by now, hasn't it?
それだけになれば多少の怪談やオカルトは生まれてくるものだよ。
It's natural for things that get that old to get their fair share of ghosts and occult stories.
学校の七不思議なんかのようにね。
Like the 7 mysteries at a school.
そこで
But that's where I'll
チェス盤をひっくり返すぜ
spin the chessboard around. Yeah! Brr, brr, brr. That's a bad impression of the CSI Miami thing, but just roll with it. Brr, puts on the shades. Brr, says the pun thing. Brr, spin the chessboard around. Brr. And Jessica says, what? What the fuck? Huh?
つまりこの島では人間にはできないことはベアトリーチェの仕業と置き換えることができるルールがあるってわけだ
I really should have that like as like a sting. Like I really should how do I That's not what I want.
That you're never gonna wear.
100 people throwing golf.
Oh, this video sucks. It doesn't even have the... This is what I get for trying to do anything. I don't even know if you guys could hear it well. Because I was too busy furiously looking to try to find it. I just needed the fucking... the screaming sting. Simply put, on this island there's a rule that Beatrice gets blamed for anything that couldn't have been done by humans.
人間にはできないこと
Things that humans can't do.
人間は何人だ？
How many humans are there?
18人だ。
18.
つまり犯人はこの島のルールにのっとってこの事件は魔女の仕業だとアピールしていることになる。
In other words, the culprit is using the rules of this island to make it look like a witch committed this crime.
つまりそれは19人目の仕業ですよと訴えたくて仕方がないわけだ。
Which proves that they desperately want us to think a 19th person did it.
気に入らねえぜ。
I don't like it.
全然気に入らねえ。
I don't like it one bit.
気に入らないって何がだよ。
What do you mean you don't like it?
仮に不可視の19人目が存在してそいつが自分の存在をアピールしたいなら
Let's assume some invisible 19th person exists and wants people to know they exist.
俺ならもっと完璧なタイミングでやるぜ。
If it were me, I'd do it with even more perfect timing.
完璧なタイミングでってのはどういう意味だい？
What do you mean by perfect timing?
あ
Well,
あ。だって事件は深夜から未明にかけて起こったのは
the crime took place sometime between the middle of the night and dawn, right?
深夜まで話し合いをしてたり夜勤をしてたりあるいは部屋に帰って寝ていたり
We had some people who were talking together until the middle of the night, some people on night shifts, and some people who'd returned to their rooms and were sleeping.
どいつもこいつもアリバイがあやふやで十分内部犯行が疑える段階だ。
Everyone's alibi is really vague, so there's plenty of room to suspect that the crime was an inside job.
ジョージの兄貴もエヴァおばさんに聞かされてるんだろ？
George Aniki, Aunt Ava probably told you too, right?
内部犯行の可能性が高いって話。
That there's a good chance this crime was an inside job?
うん。
Yes.
まあね。
I guess.
つまり不可視の19人目が実在したなら最初の事件は自分のアピールに失敗してるんだ。
In other words, if this invisible 19th person really exists and wants to let us know it, this first crime was a complete failure.
いや、そもそも時間帯がミステイクだ。
No. In the first place, they chose the wrong time of day to do it.
不可視の19人目をアピールするためには
If this invisible 19th person really wanted to show themselves,
死んだ6人以外の12人が全員白であることが確定している状況下で行われなければならない。
they had to make sure that the crime took place under conditions which proved that the remaining 12 people were all innocent.
疑わしい人間がゼロにならなきゃ自分の存在をアピールできないんだよ。
As long as there's a single human we can suspect, this 19th person's attempt to highlight their presence fails. I mean, sure? But are we willing to accept that that's the only reason that they did it? Like, I get what he's saying. But that means then their end goal is to just prove that they exist. But I don't know if I necessarily buy...
だから全員のアリバイが一番あやふやになる深夜の時間帯は
That's why near midnight, when everyone's alibis are at their vaguest,
19人目にとって自分が一番あやふやになる時間帯でもあり
the 19th person's existence is also at its vaguest.
にもかかわらずその時間を選んで犯行に及んだ。
And yet, the culprit chose to commit the crime at that time.
そんな時間に犯行を起こせば18人の誰かが疑われるのは明白。
By committing the crime then, one of the 18 would obviously be suspected.
にもかかわらずマリアに手紙を渡して魔女を名乗り誰もが自分でないと否定している。
And yet, someone handed Maria the letter and called themselves a witch, even though everyone denies they did it.
つまりベアトリーチェという19人目がいるように見せかけたい人間が18人の中にいるとこう言いたいのかよ。
In other words, you're trying to say that one of the 18 is trying to make it look like a 19th person called Beatrice exists?
なんだかぶっ飛んだ発想だな。
That's a pretty crazy idea.
まだおふくろの屋敷の外に不審者が潜んでいるって話の方が信憑性があるってもんだぜ。
I think Mom's theory about someone hiding outside the mansion is a bit more credible.
まさかバトラはこの客間の中に犯人がいると疑っているのかよ。
Battler, don't tell me you actually think someone in this room is the culprit.
あ
I do.
あ、何者かが俺たちにベアトリーチェが存在すると
Someone's
認
trying
めさせようとしている。
Someone's trying to force us to accept that Beatrice exists.
そうさ。昨べのあの手紙からもう事件は始まっていたんだ。
That's right. This whole thing started as far back as a letter last night.
証拠も根拠も何もねえけどな。
I don't have any basis or proof.
チェス盤を逆さにした限りじゃ俺の見立てはこんなところだ。
But with the chessboard turned around, this is my best guess.
飛びまくってるにも程があるぜ。
Seriously? Can you stop saying that line about the chessboard? No, I'm joking. Seriously, that's too crazy.
妙な推理小説の読みすぎじゃねえのかよ。
You sure you haven't been reading too many weird detective novels?
でも無視できない着眼点もあるね。
However, it's an angle we can't ignore.
19人目がいるかいないかは別にしても、
Whether there's a 19th person or not,
その犯人は確実にこの島のルールにのっとって何かを仕掛けてきている。
the culprit's definitely planning something involving that rule about this island.
僕はね、今バトラ君の話を聞いていて少しだけ気持ち悪いことを思い出してたんだよ。
Just now, listening to Battler-kun talk, I remembered something that's a little disturbing.
気持ち悪いことって？
Something disturbing?
Mm.
Yes.
覚えてるかい？
Do you remember
ベアトリーチェの手紙。
the 21st night of September? Beatrice's letter, I mean?
ベアトリーチェは利子の回収を行うと言っていたね。
It said that Beatrice was going to collect interest,
そして利子とは後ろ宮家のすべてだと言った。
and by interest it mentioned everything of the Ishiromiya family. Jessica and I thought back on what Maria had Jessica and I thought back on what Maria had read aloud the previous night.
言ってたぜ。
Yeah, it said that.
確かに言ってた。
It definitely said that.
そして利子の回収をこれから行うが、黄金の謎を解いたらその権利を失うとも言ってたよな。
That the collection of the interest was going to take place shortly, but if the riddle of the gold could be solved, she'd lose that right.
おじい様は黄金を授かり後ろ宮家を再興した。
Grandfather received the gold and rebuilt the Ishiromiya family.
つまり黄金を資本に生み出したものすべてが利子だってベアトリーチェは言っている。
In other words, according to Beatrice, everything created using the gold as capital counts as part of the interest.
つまり
Which means...
冗談きついぜ兄
That's pretty scary for a joke, Aniki.
貴。まさか後ろ宮家のすべて。
You don't mean everything of the Ishiromiya family.
つまりじい様が生み出したものすべてってことは
In other words, everything that grandfather gave birth to?
じい様から血を分けた一族のことを指すってのかよ。
In other words, everyone with grandfather's blood flowing through their veins?
あの手紙をそう読み解いたなら
If you interpret the letter that way,
この殺人はベアトリーチェが行った正当な利子の回収ということになる。
these murders are just Beatrice legitimately collecting interest.
となればこの事件はまだ続くよ。
If that's the case, these crimes will continue. Also, wait. I just had like a thought. Just a thought. Just a thought. I may be maybe reading that line way too literally, but like if they're saying like, oh, maybe the deaths, you know, they killed off the people with his blood flowing through him, well, that makes sense for like these three, but not really Kyrie. And is that like some secret, like, oh, Shannon was Agoda was related? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading that line incorrectly or Too literally. It's too late at night for me to think properly. So anything dumb I say during this play session, you can just give me a pass, honestly. If that's the case, these crimes will continue.
利子の回収はまだ途中なんだからね。
Because collection of interest is still only halfway completed. George turned around, looking over the parlor. There were still many people who held the name Yashiromiya. And because Goda-san and Shannon-chan had been killed, we knew that not even the servants were safe, despite lacking the Yashiromiya name.
私たち
So, are they planning
全員を殺すつもりかよ。
to kill us all?
でもおかしいよジョージ兄さん。
But that's weird, George Nissan.
ならどうして6人だけ？
In that case, why only 6 people?
他に大勢殺せたはず。
They should have been able to kill a lot more.
下手をすれば寝込みを襲って全員を一晩で殺すことも可能だったはず。
No, Jessica, it's the riddle of the epitaph. The following the rules. Get with the program. At worst, it should have been possible for them to assault everyone while they were sleeping and kill them in a single night.
どうしてそれをしなかったの？
Why didn't they do that?
特別条項だよ。
The special clause.
黄金の謎を暴く者が現れたら利子の権利は失われる。
If someone manages to solve the riddle of the gold, their right to the interest will be lost.
そして手紙の最後にはこう結ばれていたはずだよ。
And remember how the letter ended?
おじい様の黄金の謎をみんなで解いてみろとね。
It challenged us all to solve the riddle of grandfather's gold.
ジーザス
Jesus!
ようやく犯人のメッセージが分かってきたじゃねえか。
It looks like we're finally understanding the culprit's message.
つまり犯人は俺たちにじい様のあの碑文の謎を解いてみやがると言ってるわけだ。
In other words, the culprit's telling us to try and solve the riddle on that epitaph grandfather had made.
しかもぼやぼやしてればどんどん利子の回収を進めちまうつもりだ。
On top of that, they're saying that if we just sit around, they'll keep collecting the interest. I realize this is all based on several guesses that are way out there. But not everything that happens in this world fits together in a perfect line. Most of the events we don't understand are only individual points. By fitting them into a straight line, we're beginning to understand. When the points at either end of the line are really close, the line itself is more logical and easier to understand. And when those points are really far away, the opposite is true. It's the distance between these points that make us say our guesses are way out there. However, the distances we span are too narrow. If the distances we span are too narrow, that means our thinking will be narrow too. Is there a difference between making guesses and reasoning? Am I just using easily made guesses to try and force this crime into a pattern I can understand? No, that's not it. When you're lost in the dark and searching around with your hands, what you're doing is relying on your imagination and making guesses. Only imagination can find the points that need to be tied together. Reasoning is nothing more than the act of drawing lines between them. If you can't imagine, you can't reason. What I'm doing now might be way out there, but I'm sure it isn't a mistake either. Only the power of imagination can pull clues out from the darkness, and then I can use the power of reasoning to tie those clues together. It was a lot like the process of searching out an enemy's weak spot and striking. It's okay if I'm way out there. Find a weak point first, then we can think about how to strike. Right now is the time to find points we can tie together later. Alright, I'm gonna go get some water real quickly, and I'll be right back to read a bit more. Give me like 2 or 3 minutes. Alright, I'm back. For the time being, I can read a bit more. Okay, for the time being, I put aside whether a 19th person existed and announced our theory that the goal of the culprit might have been to make us solve the riddle of the epitaph. Uncle Hideyoshi seemed to be extremely interested, but Aunt Natsui said it was ridiculous and dismissed it.
確かに
Of course.
そう考えるとあの怪しい手紙も納得がいくというもんや
If you think about it that way, even that letter from yesterday makes sense.
その動機はなかなかええ線をいっとると思うで
That motive seems to fit pretty well with the facts.
マリアちゃんに手紙を渡したのが誰かはさておきな
Setting aside whoever it was that gave Maria-chan the letter. Ew.
ベアトリーチェはいる
Beatrice exists. Even though she was puffing up her cheeks in that cute way she'd been doing since yesterday, I couldn't think of it as cute. If I poked fun at her, it might suddenly transform into a creepy laugh. Don't wake her up. There's no hidden gold.
ですが、その存在を盲信する犯人がお父様の黄金を目当てで、
However, the culprit is blindly sure of its existence.
それを私たちに解かせて横領を企んでいるという動機は、なるほどと頷けるものがあります。
And if they're trying to make us solve the riddle before snatching the gold away for themselves, then I will agree it makes sense.
しかし、ならばなぜ後宮家の主要な人物ばかりを最初に殺したのです？
However, if that were the case, why would they start by killing those most highly ranked in the Ishiromiya family?
道理ですな
Oh, Nanjo's here as well. I'm always so rude to him. Oh, I'm always forgetting about him and thinking he's unimportant. I see your point.
謎を解かせるなら金蔵さんに近しい人物を先に殺すことは得策ではないはずです
If they wanted to make us solve the riddle, killing those closest to Kinzo-san doesn't sound like a good plan to me.
そうね
That's true enough.
それにその論法で行くんだったら最初にお父様を脅迫した方が早くない？
And if we're going with that argument, wouldn't it have been quicker to threaten father in the first place?
私たちに謎を解かせるよりも本人に答えを聞いた方が早いはずよ。
You think it'd be faster to just ask the person who wrote it rather than try to force us to solve it?
確かにその通りや
You've got a point there.
もっともお父さんが並大抵の脅迫で口を割るとは思えんが
Still, I think it would take more than your average threat to make father spill the beans.
金蔵さんをよく知る方なら金蔵さんが並大抵の脅しには屈しないことをよく存じているでしょう
Anyone who knows Kinzo-san well would probably realize that he won't bow to ordinary threats.
これだけの財産を持つ後宮家を背負われる方です。
He's a man who bears responsibility for the Ishiromiya family and all its vast wealth.
今日まで様々な攻撃や脅迫にさらされてきました。
He's been exposed to many threats and attacks in the past.
それら全てに打ち勝ってきたからこそ今日の繁栄があるのです。
The family only prospers today because he was able to overcome all of them.
それに関しては私も同感だぜ。
That's freaking right.
うちのじい様が脅されて何かに従うなんて
She
ちょっと
slides in
想
and
像も
says
つかない
that.
ぜ。
I can't even imagine our grandfather obeying someone because of a threat.
ジェシカ、言葉遣いがはしたないです。
Jessica, watch your language.
はい。
Yes, Mom.
ならこういう発想はどうだ？
In that case, what about this idea?
いや、これもぶっ飛んでるか。
No, wait. Is this one also way out there? So wait, so Battler just theorizes. He just likes thinking of ideas. I don't know if any of his ideas are actually solving anything, but he's just like, nah, man, I don't believe that a witch could exist. And then he's like, he's just a silly fellow. He's just a silly fellow. I couldn't hesitate. Out there ideas are like bows and arrows. It might be hard to hit with, but it's a great weapon because you can hit enemies far away. They say most people who've died in battles were killed by arrow wounds. In a battle, you can't just shoot off one arrow. You shoot a whole bunch of arrows at once, pushing forwards towards the enemy troops with a wall of them. So keep shooting over and over. Create a wall as you push forwards. I hate how they keep stacking forwards and towards together. Create a wall as you push forwards towards the truth.
犯人が隠された黄金が狙いってんなら、俺たちに解かせるのは効率が悪い。
If the culprit is after the hidden gold, forcing us to solve the riddle wouldn't be very efficient for them.
謎を作った本人に答えを聞く方が手っ取り早いさ。
It'd be much quicker and easier to ask the person who made it in the first place.
じゃあさ、これはつまり。
In that case, the question is,
すべてじいさまに当てたメッセージってことじゃないのか。
is this all a message directed at grandfather? In other words, these murders were a threat made against grandfather. If he didn't tell the culprit where the gold was, his family members would be killed off one by one. What if we weren't the only ones being forced to solve this riddle? What if grandfather was too? If you think about it that way, it explains grandfather's mysterious disappearance. If the culprit has already attacked grandfather, then judging by the state the 6 corpses were left in, he should have been left on display somewhere with that horrible makeup added. Culprit has already attacked grandfather. Okay. But despite that, we still haven't found him. So does that mean grandfather has been kidnapped and is being held somewhere?
そんな
How could...
まさかそんな
You aren't saying... How could... Giggle, giggle, evil, giggle.
面白い話じゃない？
That sounds interesting.
つまりお父様はどこかに監禁されていて
So grandfather's being confined somewhere.
黄金のありかを話さないと次々に殺人を繰り返すぞと脅されているわけ
And the culprit's saying we'll be killed off one by one if he doesn't tell them where the gold is?
その話のどこが面白いのか理解に苦しみます
It pains me to imagine how you find that interesting. And Natsui glared at her, but Aunt Ava just smiled calmly.
この時間になっても姿を現さない以上、おじい様が事件に巻き込まれているのはほぼ間違いないと思います。
Since we still haven't seen him after all this time, I think it's almost certain that grandfather's gotten caught up in the crime.
それを思えば、バトラ君の仮説も無視することはできないんじゃないですか。
If you think about it, you can't just ignore Badler-kun's theory, right?
ジョージは黙ってなさい。
Be quiet, George.
そもそもお父様っていついなくなったのかしら？
In the first place, when did father actually disappear?
最後にお父さんの姿を見たのは誰や？
Who was the last person to see father?
多分私でしょう
It was probably me.
今朝主人たちの姿が見えないと騒ぎになった時お父様の書斎にいるかもしれないという話になり
This morning, when we didn't know where my father and the rest were, or my husband and the rest were, we discussed the possibility... Man, it's slurring the words there. We discussed the possibility of them being in father's study.
私がお部屋にお伺いしてそこでご挨拶をしました
And I went to check his room and greeted him there.
そういえば書斎の鍵をずっと借りっぱなしですね
Come to think of it, I've been holding the key to his study this whole time, haven't I?
源氏これは返しておきます
Genji, let me return this to you. Aunt Natsui pulled out the gold key and handed it to Genji. Looking at the key, Aunt Ava giggled.
ねえ源氏さん
Hey, Genji-san.
どうせ警察はお父様の部屋も徹底的に捜査すると思うわ
I'm sure the police will inspect father's room thoroughly.
何を隠していてもどうせ暴かれちゃう
If there's anything hidden there, it'll just be exposed anyway.
だったらちょっと早く今この場で話してくれてもいいんじゃないかしら
So maybe it'd be better if you just told us about it right here, right now.
何のお話でしょうか？
What are you talking about?
シンプルな話よ
It's simple.
お父様の書斎はその鍵がなければ外から入ることはできない密室よ
Father's study is a closed room, with no way in or out except for that key, right?
その定義の確認をしたいの
I want to verify whether that's true.
お父様の部屋には入り口が一つある。
There's one entrance to Father's study.
あとは窓？
What about the window?
他に出入り口は？
Any other entrances or exits?
ありません。
There are none.
中に入るには入り口しかありません。
There's no way to get in except the entrance.
間違いなくね。
You're sure about that?
秘密の隠し扉なんかがあったりはしないのね。
There isn't some secret hidden door or anything?
お父様が不在である以上、後ろ宮家の最高序列者は私よ。
Since Father isn't here, I am the highest ranked member of the Shiromiya family.
その後ろ宮家の当主代行として聞いているの。
I am asking you as a representative of the Shiromiya family head.
それを理解した上で答えなさい。
Remember that when you answer me. Oh, she's pulling rank.
あの部屋には入り口以外に他に出入り口は？
Are there any ways in or out of that room other than the main entrance?
お父様の最高の側近だったあなたは知っているはずよ。
As Father's closest aide, I'm sure you would know. And Natsui looked a little offended at the part about the highest ranked family member, but she kept her mouth closed for the time being and waited for Genji's answer. I couldn't help but feel a little uncomfortable. Why was she going on and on about hidden doors?
カノン君も熊沢さんも知ってるなら教えてくれない？
You too, Kanen-kun, Kumasawa-san. If you know, won't you tell me?
あるならあるって言ってくれた方がいいの。
God, I bet Natsuhi's like, why couldn't Eva have been the one who died? Replace Eva for literally anyone else who did die. If there is one, it'd be better if you said so.
じゃないと今からある人がとても追い詰められることになるわよ。
Otherwise, a certain person might be driven into a corner in a second.
隠し扉があると仮定されたら、私の話はすべて水の泡。
If we assume that there's a hidden door, then my argument comes to nothing. Aunt Eva didn't specify which person was about to be driven into a corner, but following the flow of the conversation, I had to feel that she was referring to Aunt Natsuhi.
母さん、何の話？
Mother, what are you talking about?
ジョージは少し黙ってなさい。
George, stay quiet for a bit.
どうなの？
What do you say?
源氏さん、
Genji-san?
カノン君、
Kanen-kun?
そして熊沢さん。
Or Kumasawa-san?
隠し扉はあるの？
Is there a hidden door?
ないの？
Or not?
源氏さんはお父様が書斎を改造した時、施工業者の監督をしていたはず。
Genji-san, when you remodeled Father's study, you must have overseen the construction.
知らないとは言わせないわよ。
I won't let you say you don't know.
そのようなものは親方様の書斎にはありません。
There's nothing like that in the master study.
間違いなく
You're sure?
片翼の場所を許されたカノン君。
What about Kanen-kun? One who's allowed to wear the one-winged I said it, angel. Eagle! That's right.
間違いなく
I'm sure.
親方様の書斎に隠し扉などありません。
There's no such hidden door in the master study.
熊沢さんは？
Kumasawa-san?
いえ、私も聞いたことがありませんよ。
No, I haven't heard of such a thing.
お父様と親交の深い南條先生は？
She's just grasping at straws here. What about Dr. Nanjo? You've had a close relationship with Father.
私もそんなものは聞いたことがありませんな。
I have never heard of something like that.
結構。
Very well then.
じゃあいい？
So, are you ready?
話を始めるわよ。
Let me begin.
とってもシンプルな話なの。
It's very simple. Everyone tilted their head doubtfully, wondering what Aunt Eva was starting to talk about so proudly. Aunt Eva laughed triumphantly as though she were about to reveal a secret only she knew.
お父様を最後に目撃したのは
Natsui-san
夏日姉さんよね。
Natsui-san was the last person to spot Father, right?
詳しい時間は忘れちゃったけど、今朝の9時前くらいのことだと思ったわ。
I forget the exact time, but I think it was a little before 9 in the morning.
姉さん、覚えてる？
Nissan, do you remember?
私、あなたがお父様の書斎からちょうど出てくるところに出くわしたわよね。
I ran into you just as you were coming out of Father's study, right?
ええ、覚えています。
Yes, I remember.
それが何だというのですか？
What does that have to do with anything?
そして次に姉さんがお父様の書斎を訪れたのは
And when was the next time you went to visit Father's study?
兄さんたちの遺体が見つかってからよね。
That was after we found the bodies of Nissan and the rest, right?
それを報告しに書斎に上がり、そこで私と一緒に不在を確認したわ。
Together with me, you went up to the study to report that, and we discovered that he wasn't there.
ところで姉さん、
By the way, Nissan,
その時お父様の書斎に入ろうとして気づいたことはなかったかしら？
at that time, when you went to enter Father's study, did you notice anything?
気づいたこと？
Notice anything?
何のことですか？
What are you talking about?
ほら、
Come on.
ゴミを拾ったでしょう。
You picked up some trash, right?
畳んだレシートを。
A folded receipt?
確かにそんなゴミを拾った気がします。
I do seem to remember picking up some trash.
それが何か？
How is that relevant?
そのレシートは私が飛行場に着く前に寄った売店で飴玉を買った時にもらったものよ。
I got that receipt when I bought some candy at a store before arriving at the airport. Aunt Eva pulled a small bag of candy out of her handbag.
ああ、あの時に買った飴のレシート。
Ah, the receipt from that candy you brought back there.
でも母さん、そのレシートの話が何と関係あるの？
But, Mother, what does that receipt have to do with anything?
ジョージ、もうちょい黙って聞いとってや。
Georgie! Stay quiet and listen for just a bit longer. Uncle Hideyoshi's expression was a little strict. Apparently, he understood what Aunt Eva was getting at.
本当にこれは気まぐれよ。
It really was just a whim.
何かを予見してたとか、
I definitely didn't foresee anything.
ましてや夏日姉さんを罠にかけようとか、そんなのじゃ断じてないんだから。
Or try to set up a trap for Natsui-san or anything like that.
実はね、そのレシート、
Actually, about that receipt.
姉さんがお父様と最後に会って出てきて、そこで私と会ったでしょ？
Nissan, you remember bumping into me right after that last time you saw Father, right?
その時、書斎の扉に私が挟み込んだものなのよ。
At that time, I wedged this into the door to the study.
ってことはどういうことですか？
Oh, it was the thunder and rain. I was like, what is... That sound effect mixed with the music confused me. I was like, what? So what does that mean?
つまり夏日おばさんがそのレシートを拾うまで誰もドアを開けていない。
Are you saying no one opened the door until Aunt Natsui picked up that receipt?
ちょっと待ってよ、エヴァおばさん。
Wait a second, Aunt Eva.
レシート挟むなんてバレバレだって。
Wedging a receipt in would be obvious.
小さまが外出した時に気づいて面白がってもう一回挟み直した可能性も。
It's possible that when Grandfather opened the door, he noticed it, found it amusing, and stuck it back in the door. Jessica hurriedly argued back. She still didn't really know what this all meant, but she realized that, whatever it was, it would raise suspicions about their own mother. Her own mother.
もちろんバレないようにレシートは小さく折りたたんだわ。
Of course, I folded the receipt up very small so that no one would notice it.
でもね、レシートが落ちるところを仮に見たとしても、扉のどこの高さの部分に挟み込んであったかは正確にはわかんないんじゃない？
But even if you assume that he saw it fall, he would have no way of knowing how high up the door had been stuck, right?
私は夏日姉さんが鍵を取り出している間に確認したわ。
I checked it while Natsui-Nissan was taking the key out.
レシートが挟み込まれた位置は寸分の1ミリの違いもなく私が挟んだ場所だった。
The receipt was still stuck not 1 millimeter away from where I put it.
なぜそんな子供じみたいたずらをされるのか理解できません。
I can't understand why you would pull such a childish prank.
大方、私の部屋の扉にいたずらをしたのもあなたでしょう。
I'll bet you were the one who did that prank on the door to my room, too.
夏日さんの部屋の扉？
The door to your room?
不愉快な話だったので話しませんでしたが、
It was unpleasant to talk about, so I never mentioned it.
今朝目が覚めたら扉の外側にあのシャッターの落書きと同じと思われる赤い塗料でいたずらがされていたのです。
But when I woke up this morning, there were signs of some prank on the outside of my door, with what was probably the same red paint that was scribbled across the shutter.
かきむしったような気持ちの悪い跡で、
There were some unpleasant marks, as though someone had been tearing at the door.
なんやその話。
Wait, what's this?
なんで今まで黙っとったんや。
Why'd you keep quiet about this till now?
申し訳ありません。
My apologies.
あの後立て続けにいろいろと恐ろしいことが起こったため、今の今まで失念していました。
Since so many horrible things have occurred since then, I'd completely forgotten about it until this moment.
知らないわよそんなの。
I don't know anything about that.
私がしてるのは姉さんの部屋じゃなくてお父様の部屋の扉の話よ。
I'm not talking about your door, but the door to Father's room, right?
姉さんがお父様がいるのを確認してから、私と一緒に不在を確認するまでの間、
Between the
あ
time
の扉は一度も開かれてないのよ。
between the time you confirmed that he was in his room and the time we confirmed that he wasn't, that door wasn't opened even once.
扉を使わず、どうやってお父様は外に出たのかしら。
How did Father get out if he didn't use the door?
そんなことは知りません。
I don't know that.
私が知りたいくらいです。
Oh shit, I know how. This goes back to my older theory I said maybe several episodes ago about how the servants would always say that they were furniture, and that when at a certain time they just immediately transform into furniture. Kinzo has that same ability, but he has the ability to turn it on and off at will. He just like turns into like an end table whenever he wants to hide from people. And he's currently just hiding as a random piece of furniture. Maybe a vase. Maybe a footrest. He's just chilling up there. I don't know that. That's what I want to know.
夏日姉さんの他にお父さんの在室を確認したのは誰や。
Natsui-san, other than you, who else checked to see whether Father was in his room?
昨夜金蔵さんとチェスをしたのがあった最後ですな。
Last night, the last time I met Kinzo-san was when we were playing chess.
夕食の直前までご一緒だったはずです。
So I was with him until just before dinner.
それより後の時間は誰かおらんのか。
Who saw him after that?
私です。
I did.
昨夜の晩餐のお世話をしております。
I gave him his dinner last night.
はい。
Yes.
僕とシャノンも一緒でした。
Shannon and I were with him.
ここまでは間違いなくお父さんも部屋にいたやろな。
So at that time, Father was still definitely in his room.
だがな、夏日姉さん。
However, Natsui-san,
不在だった書斎は窓も扉も全て閉め切られた状態だったそうやないか。
when you found out he wasn't there, it looks like all ways in or out of the study were closed, right?
なのに夏日さんは今朝お父さんに会って話をした言うと。
But even so, you said you met with him this morning.
私には皆さんが何を険悪になったのか分かりません。
I don't understand why everyone has become so gloomy.
どなたか説明してくださいますかな。
Could someone please explain it to me? I'm so lost.
父さんと母さんは
Father and mother.
夏日おばさんが今朝おじい様に会ったというのは
Are you saying that what Natsui says about meeting grandfather this morning
嘘だと言っているのかい。
was a lie?
嘘なんかつくもんかよ。母さんは潔白だぜ。
Like hell she would lie about that. Mom's guiltless.
なんで嘘なんかつくんだよ。
Why would she lie?
ジェシカ、
Jessica,
言葉遣いを直しなさいといつも言っています。
I keep telling you to watch your language. Even if you are defending me, you must watch your language. All at once, the whole room was in an uproar. Aunt Eva and Aunt Natsui confronted each other across the parlor table, with George confronting Jessica. What the heck's going on?
複数の人間の目撃があるのは昨晩までよ。
Many people spotted him last night, right?
でも今朝以降、お父様の姿を見たと称するのは夏日姉さんただ一人。
But since this morning, the only one who claims to have seen Father's Natsui-san.
そして私の挟んだレシートが物語る奇妙な事実。
And then there's that strange fact we learned from my receipt.
さあ、この点と点はどうやれば結べるのかしら。
I'm not necessarily saying she's lying about the receipt thing, but can we 100% believe her that she's saying the truth? Like, if I was anyone else in this room, I'd be like, can I 100% believe you? Again, I don't think she's actually lying here, but this is like one of those things, like, I don't know, like in the court of law, you would be like, Eva would come up and she'd be like, yeah, I did this whole like receipt thing for some weird reason or whatever. And then they would be like, okay, do you have anyone who can confirm that you did that? And she'd be like, no. And then the court would be like, well, that doesn't do us any good. I mean, the closest thing to proof to this was that I think there was the exchange with Natsuhi where she was like, oh, do you remember when we bumped into each other and I picked up the trash or something? But I mean, like, my currently tired brain doesn't accept that as proof. So how can we connect these points together? Aunt Eva urged everyone to imagine it. Sure, the receipt could become an important point, but I didn't know which other points to tie it to or how. If we try searching for the answer Aunt Eva probably wants, we'll find that Aunt Natsui lied and acted as though grandfather was in the room this morning. Has that fact been exposed by whim of Aunt Eva's? I don't get it at all. Why would Mom have to lie? She had no reason to, right?
その理由は私も知りたいわよ。
That's what I want to know.
でもね、ジェシカちゃん。
But Jessica-chan,
お父様の材質を偽る価値が全くないとは限らないのよ。
you can't be sure she had no reason to lie and say that grandfather was in the room.
推理小説でもたまに出てくるでしょ。
After all, you see it in mystery novels every now and then.
生存時刻を偽ることによって自分のアリバイを偽証するトリックよ。
That trick where people fake the time of death to create an alibi for themselves.
なんだそりゃ。
What are you talking about?
そんなの聞いたことないぜ。
I've never heard of that.
お父様はまだ見つからないけれど、普通に考えればもう殺されていると考えるのが自然でしょうね。
We still haven't found father yet, but it's pretty natural to assume he's already been killed.
となれば必ず近いうちに死体は見つかる。
If that's true, there's no doubt we'll find his corpse soon.
その時死亡時刻をうまく偽ることができれば夏日姉さんはアリバイを作ることができるのよ。
If, at that point, the time of death could be cleverly faked, Natsui-Nissan would be able to create an alibi.
わかる？
Do you understand?
みんな？
Everyone? God, I'm ready for them to just fight. I wonder, okay, I mean, I hate to put it like this so early on in here, but it feels at some point we're building to a very much like Natsuhi versus Eva like fight moment of some sort. And I'm not sure both are going to make it out. I'm also pretty sure they're not going to make out, but I don't think both are going to make it out of the situation alive. The thing is, we had so many sudden did I bring this up before? I think I did. I said I was like I was surprised that the first death in this game was actually like a multi-death like situation. I also don't think we're like done with deaths. I think especially if we take the epitaph riddle kind of thing going on, I'm sure there's going to be many more deaths in this game. So I'm just curious. I'm going to say the first one to die between Natsuhi and Eva, the first one to die between those two, the other one wins. Just like a fake competition I'm just making up in my head right now. Because like I said, they both probably want each other dead. They hate each other. It's clear they don't like each other. Whatever. They got their reasons. Clashing personality types for sure. One, constant headaches, tired with the world, tired of this family, basically, I would say. The other, knows how to be a bitch. She's got it on lock. She knows how to needle people. She's a professional needler. I've said this now multiple times. Even just reading her in this story, her ability to needle people has me stunned and impressed. She is exactly that character you love to hate. She fits that archetype. So it's really who's gonna win. I gotta pull for Natsuhi in this case, but I just feel somehow I feel like the Needler is gonna win. This morning, when Aunt Natsui confirmed that grandfather was there, she lied. I think I already read that. And he was already dead at that time, question mark? And then she moved the body to some other location and tampered with it so that when we find it, we'll think he was killed just a second ago. That'd make it possible for her to create an alibi, even just by staying with the rest of us. Then, she could say I heard someone screaming, dash over there, and become the first to find the body along with everyone else. It sounds like a strat in like a video game that I've never played before. Is that what Aunt Eva's saying? Ridiculous. After all, detective novels are merely books for the purpose of entertainment. You can only think of such an indiscreet idea because you read them all the time. That's right. Even if she did try to fake the time of death a little, all that would be blown away in an instant once the police did their autopsy. That might have worked in the past, but do you really think that kind of trick would work in modern Japan? It doesn't make sense. You think so? This morning, when Dr. Nanjo looked at the corpses, he was only able to give a vague estimate of the time of death, right? Autopsy results are very easily affected by the environment and individual differences. It's a very relative estimate with an uncertainty of several hours. And unfortunately, the police's scientific investigation will have to wait until tomorrow. It wouldn't be easy to measure the correct time of death so accurately, even in modern Japan. Isn't that right, Dr. Nanjo?
検視は経験と勘の必要な非常に難しい作業です。
Examining a corpse is an extremely difficult task that requires both experience and instinct.
誤診率も非常に高いと聞いております。
I have heard that there is a very high chance of a mistaken diagnosis.
確かにほんの数時間程度の誤差を出してしまうことは大いにあり得るでしょうな。
I imagine it's very possible for a misreading of just a few hours to occur.
しかしアリバイの世界は数時間もあれば十分やで。
However, for an alibi, that's more than enough.
古典のトリックとちゃう。
It's an old trick.
十分に通用するトリックなんや。
It's a trick that works well enough.
夏日姉さん、
Natsumi-san,
わしらあんたを疑いたいわけやないんやで。
it's not like we want to suspect you, okay?
疑いとうないから潔白を示してほしいだけなんや。
We just want you to prove your innocence so we don't have to suspect you.
何の潔白を示せというのですか。
What is this innocence you want me to prove?
今朝私は確かにお父様にお会いしました。
This morning I definitely met with father.
そして心の中に片翼のわしを刻めとお言葉をいただいて、
And he told me to keep the one-winged eagle engraved in my heart.
あのお言葉をも否定するというのですか。
Are you denying that he said that too?
それだけは断じて許せません。
I will certainly not permit that.
お父様がかけられた言葉までも否定することは
She's got the guns in her
断
hand.
じて許せません。
She's got the gun in her hand. She's gonna shoot someone. I won't let you deny that father said those words.
あるいはお父様の遺体は出てこないのかしら。
This goes back to an earlier discussion I think I had in the series, but like, at this point, brave on Eva and even Hideyoshi to be going after Eva, or be going after Natsuhi, as she's packing heat right now. She has a gun. I'd be like, hey, maybe I'll hold my accusations until she's maybe put that down, or she's away from it. Or maybe father's body won't appear anywhere.
普通失踪は死亡宣告に7年かかるもの。
Normally a person has to be missing for 7 years before they're officially dead.
余命残りわずかなお父様を7年も延命し、その財産を独占するにはなんともうまいやり方じゃない。
Wouldn't that be a clever way to extend father's nearly finished life another 7 years and keep all of his wealth for yourself? Oh I fucking told you! If it's not the consequences of their own actions. Alright, I can't let you get away with saying that. Sorry, I paused there for a long time because I was just... my face was in utter shock. I can't let you get away with saying that. I can't let you get away with saying any more. I am Yushiromiya Natsuhi.
この身に片翼のわしをまとう資格はなくとも胸の中にしかと刻まれています。
Although I do not have the right to wear the one-winged eagle, eagle, I can't help God. Eagle, angle, angel, I can be your evil or your angle. Although I do not have the right to wear the one-winged eagle on my body. One-winged? Saying winged doesn't sound good to me. One-winged eagle on my body. It is certainly engraved on my heart. What do you think you're saying to the wife of Kraus, successor to the head and the one who will act as such in his place? Oh, look at this art. Yeah, yeah, fucking yeah, dude. Look at this face. Look at this face. What is this? absolutely cheesing. What's this?
その銃で私を撃つの？
Are you going to shoot me with that gun?
いいわよ。
Go ahead.
撃っちゃえば。
Oh my god. What's... Oh shit. It didn't restart. If only you just shoot.
どうせ言い逃れも思いつかなくて苦し紛れなんでしょ？
You're just desperate because you can't think of a way out, right?
やりなさいよ。暴力で真実をごまかしてごらんなさいよ。
Do it. Just try to obscure the truth with violence. You! It wasn't like Aunt Natsui had been actually holding that gun at the ready and threatening anyone. But, as she was egged on by Aunt Eva, she did hold it at the ready. Unsurprisingly, once things got to this stage, Jessica and Genji-san tried to stop her. Madam, please, calm yourself. I read that as if it was like, hey, no, please, put the gun down. Don't do that. Anything but that. Mom, you aren't lying. So there's no reason for you to listen to this. Calm down, Natsui-san. All you gotta do is swear that father definitely was in that room. Why are you getting so worked up? That is correct. Natsui-san isn't lying. Shouldn't that be the end of it?
だから説明してほしいのよ。
Then I want you to explain.
お父様がどうやって部屋からいなくなったのか。
How did father manage to disappear from that room?
窓は内側からしっかり閉じられていた。
The window was closed tight from the inside.
扉も同じよ。
The same was true for the door, right?
今朝夏日姉さんが間違いなくお父様に会ったというなら。
This morning, if you really met with father,
夏日姉さんには開かぬ扉の密室からいかにしてお父様が部屋からいなくなったかを説明してもらわなくちゃ。
then you must explain how father disappeared from this unopenable door closed room scenario.
じゃないと姉さんが嘘つきってことにやっぱりなっちゃうものね。
If you don't, that'd mean you're lying after all, right?
あなたという人はどこまで私を愚弄すれば。
How far do you plan to mock me?
反論したいならぜひしなさいな。
If you want to argue back, go ahead.
そうね。今すぐこの場で釈明をしてみなさい。
That's right. Try explaining it right here, right now.
そうしたらあなたを疑ったことを謝ってあげてもいいわ。
If you do, I'll apologize for suspecting you.
あの書斎の密室からお父様はいかにして抜け出したのか。
How did father manage to get out of that closed room? Out from that closed room?
そんなこと説明もできませんし、不要です。
I cannot explain, and there's no need for me to do so.
そう。
Really?
なら私が説明してあげるわよ。
Then let me explain it.
私の立場も姉さんの立場もいいとこ取りのとても仲良しな説明なんだから。
Let's take the best parts from my perspective and yours and come up with a more friendly explanation.
姉さんの言う今朝の時点でお父様が在室していたことを信じてあげるわよ。
I'll believe what you said about father still being in his room this morning.
でも次に扉が開かれた時にお父様はいなかった。
However, next time the door was open, father wasn't there.
ここまでは依存ないわよね。
You don't have any objections so far, right?
あなたの言うことにこれ以上耳を傾ける気はありません。
I have no desire to hear anything more you have to say.
その軽薄な口を慎みなさい。
Shut your frivolous mouth.
私の推理は
Oh shit, we have a diagram. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my goodness. My reasoning goes like this, okay?
扉から姉さんしか出入りしていないことは私が2回確認している。
I can confirm that on both occasions, you were the only one to go through that door.
そしてレシートもそれを立証している
And the receipt proves it.
にもかかわらずお父様を部屋から出すパズルの答えは
So what's the answer to the puzzle of how father left the room?
窓よ
The window?
窓から出したのよ
He was sent out the window?
夏日姉さんはお父様を3階の書斎の窓から中庭に突き落としたのよ
Jesus. Natsuini-san, you threw father out the third-story window of the study into the courtyard. Ew!
奥様来ないでください
Madam, please endure it.
エヴァ様どうかおやめくださいませ
I love Canon just telling her to endure it. Next time I need to tell a friend to calm down, I'm just gonna say, hey, endure it. Endure. Eva-sama, please stop this.
その後中庭に転落して死んだお父様の遺体は
After that, when you left and said you were going to check the doors and windows,
夏日姉さんが屋敷内の戸締まりを確認すると言って出て行った時にどこかへ隠したのよ
you took father's corpse, which had fallen into the courtyard, and hid it.
多分その時に死亡時刻を偽る工作もしたんでしょうね
That was probably when you took some measures to fake the time of death, right?
クラウス兄さんたちの事件もさらに昨べのベアトリーチェの事件もひっくるめて
This ties in with the case regarding Kraus-Nissan and the rest, and also the case regarding Beatrice last night.
ナスシさんが怪しい可能性が非常に高いっちゅうことだ
There's a really good chance we've got reason to suspect Natsui-san in all those cases.
本当ならこんなことを言いたくはない
Normally, I wouldn't want to say this,
だがもうぶちまけてしまったからには仕方がない
but now that it's out in the open, there's nothing else I can do.
頼むわ夏日姉さん
Please, Natsui-san,
どうか自分の無実を説明してくれんか
please explain how you can be innocent.
侍とわしはあんたを疑わなきゃならんのや
Otherwise, I can't help but suspect you.
なぜこの私が
What? Why me?
この私が後宮夏日がこのような恥ずかしめを
Why must I, Yushiro Miyanatsui, be insulted like this? Looks like we've got everyone's views on record now. Oh, fuck. Alright, we're gonna end there then. I don't know what the fuck Battler's laughing about, but hey. I'm sure, I don't know. I'm sure he has something either philosophical to say, or he's gonna attempt to be brainy about it. I don't know. Is he gonna do his best, like, Danganronpa protag, main character impersonation? Phoenix Wright, if you will, impression? He's gonna be the neutral party and he's gonna be like, I figured this thing out. I'm curious. I'm curious to see more, but I need to go. Yeah, I need to go. And this is a natural point. Almost 2 hours. That was pretty good. That's pretty good. No stream tomorrow, as I said. Friday, I think we're gonna try to finish the Hex. I don't know how much more there is to that, but we'll probably just go until I finish it, one of those cases. And then if it is short, then we can do something else on Friday night as well. Saturday and Sunday, probably, again, no day streams, just because of schedule stuff, but should be back on those nights, most likely. And that's either Saturday or Sunday is when you'll probably see more of this game. Though I haven't yet really hammered out the weekend schedule and or games I'm going to be focusing on then. So the most I could say is obviously nothing tomorrow and Friday, the Hex. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna save on stream before I forget to do so. There it is. All right, you have a nice. I mean, there's pretty much no Wednesday night left here, based on my time zone. So have a great Thursday. Have a great Friday. Finish the week strong. Endure. Endure the rest of the week, as Canon would say. And I'll be out Friday night with, I think, the Hex finale. I think. Hopefully. I would like to start the weekend off with the finale. So, until then,